Pythonistas, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of cutting a release of the NetFoundry Python module. So we're going to start out looking at the repo itself. And the two main things I'm going to cover is making a quick change inside the module and then cutting the release. Cutting the release has two parts. First part is using the Git CLI and GitFlow workflow. And that keeps our releases from colliding with each other while one's stabilizing, another one can be in progress. And the other piece is creating the release in GitHub. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the change to the module so we have something to work with. So here is the Git repository itself. We can see our latest release was 5.2.9. And another way to see that is in the repo itself. That gives us all of the different tags. We sort those by versions, then we can see that the one that sorts the last is 5.2.9. So we're going to cut 5.2.10 today. And you don't actually make a change to a file to do that. It's read by the module itself when it builds from Git. So we're just going to use GitFlow to create a tag with the standard naming convention. But we'll start with a branch. So GitFlow release start. And that's going to be followed up by the actual version number. And you can see that moved us from the develop branch, which is the place where changes are accepted, over to the release branch. And that release branch is named according to the conventions of this project. And those conventions are defined in the GitHub Actions workflow file because it's looking for branches named like this in order to do the right thing for the release, for the build. So if I browse inside my project here, GitHub Actions workflows are stored under the .github directory. So we can see that we're going to trigger on branch names like release-v. We're also going to trigger this workflow when a new release is finalized. So the change that I want to make can be seen in the latest version of the demo script, which is part of the module. So in the top level directory NetFoundry of the repo, we can see a demo.py. And we have a call. And so the purpose of this demo script is to show how to use the module. And I noticed, this is the change I want to make right here, that this call to get edge router registration is using the old name of the method. That's now an alias for the new name. The reason it was renamed is that calling that method actually revokes the old key and issues a new one, so I renamed it rotate. I'll show you what I mean. So rotate edge router registration, and it's an alias. The old name is an alias for the new name. So right there inside the network class, that gets assigned. I just think we should use this best practice of the new name inside the demo script. So right here where it says get edge router registration, we're just going to plop the replacement in right there, rotate edge router instead. So I will save that. And now let's take a look at our git diff to make sure that we have only expected changes. Just select that in my browser here. Looks good. So I'll stage that change and add a little commit message. So now back to our terminal, we're done making our changes. We can see from git status that we don't have anything outstanding there. We're ready to use the GitFlow helper CLI. It's a Git CLI extension to publish this release. That's just going to push the branch. Great. So now we have a remote branch, and we can go ahead and follow this link to create the pull request. We'll just leave that as a draft by clicking this button right here. And that'll let my reviewer know that we might have another change coming in. So let's give this a test before we do the release branch. Then the pull request shows that we have some checks in progress. These are GitHub Actions workflows. And the one that I'm interested in is this first one right here. And the reason is that I know this workflow is going to build a Python package index test package. So PyPi test is practically identical to PyPi prod. And this way I can install the test package locally. So we'll just wait for that to finish building. Meanwhile, I'll show you what I have installed right now. Pip show. I'm using editable to install the working copy rather than a wheel or egg. So this is how that's accomplished. See how I said pip uninstall netfoundry and pip install editable from the working copy directory. So that gets me a local editable version of the module that I can run as soon as I make any change to the module source code. It's immediately executable in this way. So we're going to swap that out. And instead, we're going to install the test package. So let's see if that's done building yet. Looks like it is done with the test package. Just a question of whether I can get to it here before it's actually done. There we go. So here's the link to our test package. And actually I'll dwell on the name of this task or step in the job, publish test package. So if you can find that where it says publish test package, you can open that up and link directly to the test package. You could also browse over to test.pypi.org, which is shown here in the address bar, and that would get you to the same place. So I'm going to copy to my clipboard this install command and paste that. So we'll uninstall netfoundry and then install it from the test repo. Now I can actually exercise or test the change that I made. So to run the demo script, I just want to run the new version of the script that I had just modified. So I had already run the demo script, which creates a network with a bunch of resources inside. So running it again should be fairly quick. We're going to run the netfoundry modules built-in demo. And we do need to know the name of the network that we're going to run. And so we'll specify that, and we'll also specify the credentials. Got to have an API account to do stuff in the API. And the network that we'll use will be this one right here, kentest123. So we'll just let that run and make sure that we don't get an error when it does this step, where it calls the register branch. So it got the new key, and every time it runs, should have a new key. That last one ended RGE, this one ends QDC. Looks like it's rotating successfully. So let's just assume that that's a satisfactory amount of testing for this particular change. We are ready to stamp this release in GitHub. So my working copy is clean. I've done the publish command like that already. Now let's go into GitHub. All checks have passed. My approver has approved the changes. Mark this as ready for review. We could go ahead and merge this to the main branch and cut the release. So let's run the release finish command like this. That's going to give us our branch merge. I'm just doing VI right quit to advance through the GitFlow workflow. I can push tags rather, should have done this. So see how that pushes the new tag using the correct naming convention. for main. Well, so it's showing that I need to download the latest from the remote on the main branch because I used the GitHub pull request to merge into main. So we are going to have to do this first. We'll just merge in the remote and then push tags. As soon as we have a tag, we can go draft a new release, choose a tag. There it is. Just name it like this. I think that's what we did for our prior releases, wasn't it? Yep, we just named it with the semver. So we'll do that. Save, publish. Great. Now that's going to kick off one final or GitHub Actions workflow. We can see those have queued up now. And it's going to do about almost exactly the same things that it did when it built the test package, only this time it's going to also push to the main Python package index. So we can actually follow along to see how that's going. So we can see if we go to pypi.org/project/netboundary, at this moment, the latest is 5.2.9. We're just waiting for 5.2.10. So one of the last things that this workflow does is it builds a Docker container with the latest Python module. We can see here that a few minutes ago, we had a test image that was pushed up. So now we're just waiting for the 5.2.10 and the latest tag to be updated by this check, this GitHub Actions workflow. Okay, that has finally succeeded. So if I refresh this page, we should see 5.2.10. And if I refresh this page, we should see latest tags also. Kind of seems like these get out of order for some reason, but they're now latest and 5.2.10 have been updated. Artifacts are now published. So the next time that somebody does pip install netfoundry, they'll get 5.2.10. So they might type a command like this to upgrade their module, and you would expect 5.2.10 to be installed. Now I see that I got 5.2.9, and I must attribute that to a delay with the Python package index making the latest release available. So that did work. So yes, after a moment, the delay, after a momentary delay, 5.2.10 is available. I think that about covers it. So let me know if you have any questions about the Python module or this automation that gets the packages published and the Docker container published. Oh, I will show you one more thing. You can check the version of the container that you are running. You can run netfoundry.version. You can also run Python setup version. So that's for the current, that's computed by the current working copy since we ran it that way. And see if and that's because we have not done a Docker pull. So if we were to actually change this to 5.2.10, see if it would pull that. It does automatically pull that. And if we were to run it against 5.2.9, it would pull that. So that's cool. All right, this time, that's it. Let me know if you have questions.